Hey everybody, I'm down at Andy Sills Motorcycles in Southsea again. Last time I was here I took this bike out, the Zontes GK. It's a 300cc little bike. Absolutely blown away by how much fun that is. It kind of rides like a supermoto because it's got a single cylinder engine. You know, the size and the shape and proportions and the rake and everything make it feel kind of supermoto-ish. But today we're going to take out the Zontes 310M, which is a 300cc scooter. Now previously I've ridden the Bergman 400, the Bergman 650 and some other 125cc's. Never ridden a 300 scooter before. Actually kind of really liked the 400 Bergman and things like that. So this, I think, should be quite a good laugh. It says air pressure low, but we've actually pumped it up, so it should pick up in a minute. Yes, this has got tyre pressure monitors. Oh, am I going to get into the screen there? Oh, nearly. I might have to adjust that in a minute. I've adjusted my camera now, so I won't smash into the screen as I turn. But we will get out of the city a bit to experience it on the motorway eventually. But I should find a nice spot to stop, take a look at all the bells and whistles and all the features of the bike before we get into the sort of riding of it. So all the Zontes have got these screens on that are completely customizable. You can change, like, if you want to have the speedo and the rev over this side or at the top, or the, you know, it's very much like a lot of the bikes have these days that you can modify how that's all laid out. Now I'm not going to play with that too much, as I say, because that's your choice as to what you want to do with it. But the other features of the bike we need to cover over are, you know, like switchgear and stuff. So obviously got rear brake, front brake. Are they linked? I imagine they're independent ABS, but we can have a look. One going in, independent ABS. So we've got pass light, high beam, low beam. You've got your horn, indicators, hazard switch. You've got a screen button to put the screen up and down automatically. That is 2 positions. And what sort of a difference in height do we get from that? 3 inches, roughly. You've got a button here for fuel, and your fuel goes in there. You've got a button here for the seat, so you can just get in the seat nice and easily. It's got a little light in there, that's cool. I'm not sure if you're going to get a full, you know, you should get actually a full-sized helmet in there, maybe not with a peak, but it looks like a helmet will fit in there. Your fuse box is under here. I wonder if the battery's also there. Some other features is underneath this cap here, which I'm not going to try and pry off because it's got plastic clips around the outside of it and it's very cold. That gives you access to the yoke, the handlebars, and there is a threaded screw in there. So you can attach a phone holder in here and put your GPS on it, because obviously bikes like these are used a lot by couriers, by, you know, delivery drivers, intercity stuff. You know, people who want the convenience of jumping on and off a bike and having a bit of storage and stuff, but with the pep to get on the motorway. We will be testing that. So I want to see what it's like on a motorway. I'll put a few specs on the screen now that I can find from their website. The websites are interesting because they make one of the selling features the fact it has a large battery. I mean, maybe, yeah, actually I suppose that makes sense if you are a courier and you're stopping and starting and stopping and starting and physically starting the bike every time. I guess then actually it would make perfect sense to have a large capacity battery, wouldn't it? You do have a centre stand and a side stand. Let's try the centre out. That's easy enough. No real force on that, but they've also got the side stand, kickstand, so you can just whack it on that for a moment. You've also got these little cubby holes here. Now this is the idea, is you can put your phone in here. There is a USB... It'll be very difficult to show you. There is a USB charger in here, which is a fast charger, and from the website, I think it's set up to 36 watts, which seems very high for an output of a bike phone charger, but you know, it's a charger, it's a USB, it's there. These bikes are also keyless, as I've previously mentioned. You just get this little thing that looks like a Fitbit that stays on your wrist or can go in your pocket. Because you don't have a key, people did ask, what would happen if the battery died on this? How are you going to get under the seat to get to the battery to be able to open it? The answer to that is, there is actually a power connector somewhere on this bike, I'm not going to say specifically where you plug a power brick that they give you to, which powers the seat and gives you the ability to get under there. I'm not going to explain where that is because I don't want to give anyone any ideas. Looks-wise, it's kind of got a cross between a giant centipede face or a character from Power Rangers that would have only have lasted maybe 1 or 2 episodes. Like a villain. But, you know, as far as scooters go, it's pretty sleek. It's nice that they've put this 2-tone colour in rather than just all being black. I don't know if you can notice that. This is black, this is grey. So it just gives it a bit of contrast on the lines. We've got some big brake discs on the front and the rear. So it's disc front and back, obviously. This day and age, it should be. Yeah, independent ABS. We've got a side-by-side suspension, which is pretty classic for a scooter. Yeah, well, right, should we get going again? I guess I should also mention this has got the steering lock like so. That you turn the bike off. There you go. And now, bike's off, steering lock is on. Press the button, it unlocks it, and turns it on. Simple. As with a lot of scooters, you do actually have to hold the rear brake on to start it. And let's go. Power delivery is smooth. There's a little bit of a rumble to the engine, and it's not very loud. It sounds like a scooter. As you may be able to tell by the clear looks and the fact that I'm wearing a hoodie under my jacket, it is freezing today, so it's going to be an interesting test of the wind protection as well. See if my knees are protected. I am 6'4", but I can actually comfortably sit in the driver's seat dip and my knees are not smashed into the dash. That's something I have found with other models of scooters and stuff, that they put those, you know, the predefined dips in for the rider and the pillion, but the problem is, if you're tall, that then means you've either got your butt sat on top of the bump or you have your knees smashed into the dash. So it's nice to see that I actually have a good amount of room here, and as I say, there's still a lot of room behind me for a pillion. If you are looking to get a motorcycle for transport, for getting around town, you're not looking, you know, for the motorcycling side of things. I'm not saying you can't have that sort of fun on a scooter. You can still get out on the roads and, you know, blast your way through the corners and have fun. I'm just saying that if you're more looking for the transport, then scooters like this are absolutely brilliant, because they take little effort. You know, they're easy to ride around. You don't have to think about changing gear and using the clutch and all that sort of stuff. Why are you now on the wrong side of the road? Is there any reason you're now driving on the wrong side of the road at cars? No? Should we try the screen up? Does it make any difference for me? Okay, listening to the wind. A tiny, tiny, tiny bit, but I'm way taller than what most people are going to be on this. It appears that we have 2 feet positions, forward and down. I can only really use the down, the forward doesn't work. Maybe if I sit in the rear seat, I can use the forward position. There we go. Now if I sit on the pillion seat, I can do this. Feels a little unstable, if I'm honest, doing that. While we're slowly making our way out of Portsmouth, I just want to say huge thanks to the patron supporters who make this channel possible. If you want to help support this channel, you can do that for as little as £1 a month. Links in the description. There are many benefits to that. Most of my patrons don't use them. They just chuck me £1 a month. Well, £1 a month, £1 a month. We call it a buck because, you know, it's shown like that, but it is just basically just over £1 a month. And without their support, this channel wouldn't be possible, so thank you to them. Anyway, what we've got coming up now is a road which is an amount of red lights and 50-mile-an-hour speed limit, so it's going to be great to see about getting up to speed and slowing down. As I say, with all these bells and whistles, it is a shame this hasn't got heated grips, because my hands are starting to get quite cold. I believe the MPG of this bike is around 75 miles to the gallon, or at least that's what they claim. Wouldn't surprise me, you know, that's 300cc, 75 miles to the gallon should be pretty doable, especially with an auto box like this. Oh, I forgot to mention, this has also got tyre pressure monitors and all sorts of things like that. Or were they just nearly crashed into each other? Yes, they nearly did. This has got tyre pressure monitors on it. Earlier on it was flashing to say the front tyre was a bit low. Andy popped some air in it, and after a few minutes it's gone off, so obviously it's gone. Oh, got the air, I'm good. Oh, it's got a very nice indicator, I've got to say that. It's a very nice click, very definite, and a very nice click off. I know indicator switches seem like a small feature on a bike, but when you use them as much as you do, one that's a bit funny, or in the wrong place like a Honda, and go. I'm afraid for me, this would need to be a little bit wider in the front fairings to give me wind protection on my knees. It's pretty obvious that it's not doing that. Obviously I'm getting some protection on my core of my body, which hopefully will help keep you warmer, but my hands are also getting really cold. As I said, it's like 1 degree today, if that. Right, well, let's try it on a 70-mile-an-hour road and see how it does. Oh, that's up to 60 pretty quickly, actually. I mean, it's a 300, it should be. And there is 70 miles an hour at just about 6,000 RPM. Very smooth. It's fine. I mean, it's very windy today and it's cold, so the wind's a bit, you know, thicker as it were. Plus I'm getting buffeted by that thing. Let's get past it. Don't do that to me, man. Okay, I can tell you this, if you hold the throttle open at 70, it starts climbing pretty quickly. I'm not going to do a top speed run on this, because obviously I can't tell you, because that would incriminate me. And this is my job, and I need my license. You know, it feels planted, it feels stable. Most of these bikes do. You know, I think this has got like 15 or 16 inch wheels on it. Could even be 14s, I guess. Yeah, I mean, this gets up to speed easily fast enough to be safe. In the sense of, you know, if you want to get on a motorway, get up to speed, not have people go at the back of you. You've got excess speed there if you need it to, you know, get ahead. And yeah, it's not drop a gear and disappear, but it's pin it and it gets there. It builds. Did I mention this bike's about $5,000 on the road? Now, some people said to me in the last video, what are Zontes like, you know, to get parts and reliability and stuff like that? What I can say is that Andy is a small independent, and if he sells bikes that keep coming back and keep needing repair work done on them, he doesn't make any money from the bike, so there's no point in him selling the bike. So he says that he goes for brands which have less coming back, you know, less problems. There are certain bikes which lots of you quite like, he won't sell because he knows about inherent problems with them that just mean they come back time and time again, and it's not worth it for him as a small business. As I said, Andy is an absolutely stand-up guy. He very much is interested in looking after his customers, because at the end of the day, you know, if you mess people around, they're going to be unhappy with you, and he just wants to make people happy and help them get around and do their lives. And I respect him a lot for that. Just like the other Zontes I tried, this has got a range prediction and running numbers, basically. Let's try it out for some maneuverability, because, well, obviously that's important when it comes to intercity stuff. Careful not to hit the screen with my camera mount. I mean, that's full lock. It's got a very good turning circle. It feels nicely balanced. As I say, it doesn't feel heavy. I like it. As I say, I know you can't get too excited about scooters, in my own opinion, because they're made to do a job, you know. I can't get massively excited about a hammer, but it does do a really good job. It's almost like the less you notice, the better, because as long as it's just getting you A to B, not causing you trouble, that's exactly what you want it to do. Back onto the motorway. You know, it's not ragingly fast, but it's definitely quick enough that you're not going to have any problems with people on the road. This scooter is about being a utilitarian thing, about getting you around, about doing a job. And for that, solid as hell. Of course, then you've got to take the price into account. As I say, it's about $5,000. Seems pretty fair in the grand scheme of things. It's a 300 after all. I believe you get a 2 years warranty with it. You know, it's got phone chargers and the bits and pieces you'd need. I mean, it's just an honestly good little bike. If it wasn't so cold and the tyres are a bit warmer and, you know, I could throw it around a bit more in the country roads maybe I could say it's a lot more fun. But, I mean, I'm not bored. It's getting me around. It's doing its job. It does give you a nice, tall, commanding position, actually. I can see nicely over the traffic. I can see good height with people's mirrors and stuff to see inside. And, yeah, it feels like a good commanding position. It feels safe. That's one thing I will say about scooters. They feel very safe because you're not really thinking. I mean, not that I think about riding a normal bike, but there is very little to think about with this. It's stop, go, look at the traffic, pay attention to what they're doing, find your gap, get through. The ABS works very well. I haven't even managed to get a chirp out of the rear tyre. I will try. I will pull the rear brake as hard as I can. It's not beyond me, I'll do it now. Okay, it did lock up. Has this got rear ABS? It should have rear ABS. I thought it did. I mean, maybe it's just because it's cold, I don't know. But that did lock up a good one. Honestly, earlier on when I tried, it would not do that. You know, normally, look, you can jab on them, throw it around. Oh. Okay, now I'm having fun. Sirloin of beef. Why the hell is there a place called Sirloin of beef? Honestly, if you use my channel, you won't get any of the jokes what could be taken out of that. Oh wait, sirloin of beef. Oh my god, it's even more levels to it. You know, I'm not going to make this a massively long video because there's really no need for it. You know, it's a very good utilitarian, functional vehicle. It's fun, it's got plenty of bells and whistles on it. It's quick enough in town and city, it's quick enough on the motorway even, the brakes are nice. Well, there you go, there's a little first ride stroke review of the Zontes 310M. Good little scooter, you know, as far as it goes. I really enjoyed it. I wouldn't have said necessarily it felt that much slower than the Bergman 400, but then it's been a long time since I've ridden one of those. But honestly, from my memory, that actually feels just about as peppy, so good work, Zontes. Nice little machine, very impressive, and as I say, build quality is all very solid. You know, if you said that was a Honda, Yamaha, I wouldn't be surprised. Nothing about it seems cheap. Pretty good. Well, there you go. Hopefully you found that interesting or useful. If you did, please smack that like button and help support this channel through Patreon. Huge thanks to Andy Sills, as always. I am going to do more of these bikes as and when I can. I will do a few more over the winter, and hopefully it won't be quite as cold as it is today. But the thing is, what's going to be next? Because they do have Zontes. They have AJS. They've also got some other bikes that I wouldn't mind trying. The Blackbird, because I nearly bought one of these instead of my Divvy, but one of the issues was the size of it. I knew I had to get down the size of my house, and if you look at the size. The XJ6 is just so much smaller in comparison, and that's why I went for that. Anyway, we're getting off the subject here. Thank you for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one. Bye bye.